Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to my presentation. I'm talking to you today around migrating from a level 1 support team to using PagerDuty. Firstly, to introduce myself, I'm Nav Pabla. I'm an engineering manager here at Maersk. I work in a platform team that provides a highly available platform to our organization. I have a passion for driving efficiencies in costs and processes, and you can find me on LinkedIn. So let me tell you a little bit about the APM Multimers group. So you would have most likely seen a Maersk container on your travels or on the highway or motorways around the world, wherever it may be. Now, the Maersk group is made up of multiple different companies. So we've got Maersk Container Industries. So this is the company that actually manufactures containers. So these are the containers that are sold to other container logistic companies and also used by Maersk. And these actually transport the goods on our vessels. We've got Damco. So Damco deals with our inland logistics. We've got APM Terminals. So APM Terminals actually owns and part owns ports around the world. So this is where vessels are offloaded and loaded at the actual ports. And then we've got Svitzer. So Svitzer provide us with tugboat services. So these actually pull the vessels in and out of ports around the world. And then along the bottom, we've got our container logistic companies. So Maersk Line, Sealand Maersk, Safmarine, and Hamburg Sud. So these are where our containers are actually transported globally around the world. And this year, we've actually been voted in the Time 100 most influential companies. So this is due to the efforts of transporting goods and PPE and vaccines during the COVID crisis over the last year. So just to give you a bit of an understanding of the scale of the organization. So we own and charter 742 vessels, which carry approximately 12 million containers every single year. So these call at 343 ports in 130 countries. So being the global leader in shipping services, the company operates in 130 different countries, and we transport approximately 20% of global trade. So most likely something that you may be wearing, something in your house or in your offices, has been transported in a Maersk container during its life. So some key stats around the size of the organization. So if we look at Damco, Damco is our inland logistics business, and we have 330 offices across the world in 80 different countries. Damco manages around 3.4 million 24 equivalent ocean freight. And if we move on to the APM terminal side of the business, so these are the ports around the world, we have 69 different terminals. 40 of these are 40 of these are joint ventures. These are operated in, we own ports in 58 different countries, and we handle around 40 million 24 equivalent containers. And then with the towage side of the business, so Svitzer, we have approximately 370 vessels. 345 of these are owned and 25 of these are chartered, and we operate in 40 different countries. And then the container logistics side of the business, we have 742 vessels, which 346 are owned and 396 are chartered. And as mentioned, we transport approximately 20% of global trade. So we have a large online presence through our Ourmerscom Platform. So the Maersk.com platform is one of the largest B2B websites in the world, ranked by revenue generation. We take approximately 98% of our bookings through our digital channels, which generates around $2 to $5 million per hour every single day of the year. In the last year, we've seen an increase of around 100% in terms of traffic and transactions. Just more key stats around our Maersk.com website. We average around 1.25 million page views every single day from 150,000 unique visitors. This generates around 50 million business events. And we have around 40,000 plus bookings every single day through our digital channels. So in terms of where I sit within the organization and what I support, so as mentioned, I work in a team that provides a highly available platform. So this is it's always on platform that provides a 4 nines availability. The platform is an API cloud hosting platform that runs Kubernetes. Now, having a 4 nines availability means that we only get 52 minutes and 35 seconds of available downtime every single year. So the platform, we run core business APIs that provide customers with business critical functionality. So these APIs are generally called through our Ourmerscom website. And as an example, the tracking API. So this provides customers with the ability to track where their containers are at any point in time. And this, they may tell the customer that they're what the next port is, when the expected delivery at destination will be. So it gives a lot of information back to the customers. And it's one of our heaviest used transactions on our platform. We have the location service. So this provides customers who are looking for schedules, so point-to-point schedules on our website. It pulls out all the different locations for specific schedules. And then spot bookings. So this gives customers the ability to have instant bookings on our platforms. So this also has APIs running on our highly available platform. So just to give you a bit more context of the platform that we provide. So it's from an architectural point of view. At the front end, we've got a content delivery network and a web application firewall. And underneath that, we have an API gateway, which then gets routed through to our 3 data center model. So these are all the data centers run in active mode. And if we have an issue in one data center, for example, we have built-in redundancy, which will mean that customers can continue to be served requests back to them without having any outage or downtime. And then underneath that, we have our data layer, which the APIs pull the data from. So requests flow from top to bottom and back out through our content delivery network back to the end user. So some key stats from our platform. We currently average around 100 million API calls every single month. In the last quarter, we had around 80,000 customer logins through our platform. And at peak, we see around 420 transactions per second. In the last quarter, we've detected around 524 million bots. And we do zero downtime midweek deployments, and per month we average around 100 plus deployments. And we've continuously maintained 4 nines availability through the platform. So when we were running previously, we had a 24/7 support team, and this was a level 1 style support function. The team were based in our Maersk Global Command and Control Center, which is based in the UK. And it was a team of 10 that operated on a 24/7, 365-day rota. So the role of the team was to ensure that monitors, the monitoring dashboards and the alerts were all managed, that everything was still green and stable. So in the event that an alert had fired and the team need to jump into action, they would initially do a triage. They would identify the relevant runbooks or standard operating procedures that these had coverage across all the core areas of the platform and some of the underlying hosted services. And being in our global command and control center, it also meant that our L1 team were able to have direct integration into our incident management teams. So in the event of a major incident being raised, they were able to very quickly turn to the incident management team and get all the relevant comms and integrate management of the incident done. So in terms of from a workflow perspective, with having the 24/7 team, it looks something similar to this. So when a threshold would be breached in our monitoring, in parallel, an alert would fire and some of the dashboards would show red. Now, the 24/7 level 1 team would do a level of triaging. So they would review the alert, they would identify whether it was a genuine issue or not, and whether they need to convert that into an incident. So they would raise the incident, and in parallel, they would identify the relevant runbooks or standard operating procedures. They would look to mitigate the issue as quickly as possible. Now, with having a high availability platform, it meant that the team would look to mitigate the issue as quickly as possible, and this could be through diverting traffic away from the alerting services. Soon as they were able to do that, they would then look to escalate up to our SRE team to look to resolve the underlying issue. Now, at this time, there may not be any direct customer impact, but we would want to continue to have a highly available platform throughout all of this. So we would ensure that the underlying issue would be resolved as quickly as possible. So the SRE team would look to be engaged. Now, the team, our level 1 support team, had documentation with a lot of telephone numbers for our SREs on call. Now, it wasn't there was no clear rotas, and it was to the team. The level 1 team would go through all of the numbers to identify and try and call out the right person. Now, at times this could take 10-15 minutes, just due to people not having their phones on. It could be that someone weren't available for whatever reason. But as soon as the SRE team were engaged, they would then get up and look to resolve the issue as soon as possible. So unfortunately, we went through a major reorg within the organization, which meant that we needed to come up with a more efficient way of doing incident management and handling of alerts. So this is where we engaged with PagerDuty. Now, we actually, internally within our organization, a team was already using PagerDuty. So thankfully, we were able to directly engage with the relevant account manager that was already on our account. So we engaged with PagerDuty initially. We agreed on the commercials, and we collaborated with our account manager. We then set up introductory sessions with our account manager and the PagerDuty technical resource, and built out the requirements with them. Our technical team and a PagerDuty technical resource were working together to help implement the solution internally. This meant setting up all the business services, the technical services, and having it set up correctly so that we didn't face any issues further down the line. So the team worked on implementation and setup. They also, one of the things that our team internally did was build out a lot of automation. So we knew that going forward, there was going to be a need for other teams to also use PagerDuty. So we spent a significant amount of time building out a lot of automation, which meant that any new teams onboarding to PagerDuty would be able to do so very quickly through running our automation scripts. And this would mean that they would be able to get their technical services, business services all set up very quickly. So then we welcomed PagerDuty. So we had a transition period where we continued running with our L1 function and using PagerDuty at the same time, and then very quickly moved into solely using PagerDuty. So from a flow perspective, what did this look like, or what does this look like today? So now we, from our monitoring tool, which is Datadog, when a threshold is breached, an alert gets fired directly into PagerDuty. So with PagerDuty having inbuilt routers and having all the event rules set up, having the right technical services, etc., all set up, it knows exactly when an alert is fired into PagerDuty. It knows where that needs to be routed to. So very quickly now, our SRE team are engaged into the alert, and with the different notification settings, within seconds, they can be aware of an alert that has been fired. The SRE team then work on resolution and look to resolve the incident very quickly. Now, if we compare where we were previously to where we are today, when we look at the time it takes, so if we go back to the 24/7 frontline or level 1 support team that we had, on average, end to end, we would be looking at around 57 plus minutes, depending on how long it took to resolve the issue. Now, with using PagerDuty, we're looking at approximately 13 minutes end to end, obviously depending on how long it takes to resolve. But if we look at that middle bit where that PagerDuty has replaced, there's a significant amount of saving there. And when we look at it holistically across the whole end to end, we're looking at around 44 minutes approximately in saving. Now, when we extrapolate this out to multiple alerts, that is a significant amount of saving for our team. So some of the key features that we use of PagerDuty and the value that we've found from it. So number one, the event rules. So now we're able to specify what alerts we want to be fired and when we want them to be fired. So we've actually got set up rotas that are purely for business hours and also ones that are 24/7. So we know that if there's a certain type of alert that needs to wake up someone in the middle of the night for, we can specify that in PagerDuty directly, which is extremely useful. Having the correct person engaged at any time. So as mentioned previously, as we have all the technical services or etc. all built out, that alert gets fired directly to someone who can actually do something with that alert very quickly. And it saves us a significant amount of time than having to hop around multiple different teams. Having structured on-call rotas, so now we have a very clear view of who's on call. The individuals know when they're on call. They also get notifications as when they're going on call, so they don't miss when they're going on call. Live call routing. So this is something that we have used quite a lot internally, where not all of our technical teams are using PagerDuty. So live call routing allows other teams to have a direct contact to our SRE on call without having to have documentation with multiple numbers set up. Having intuitive UI across multiple platforms. So with having notifications on mobile phone, SMS, and desktop app and the mobile app, it allows our teams to really specify how they want to be notified, and it's very easy to use across all of those platforms. And then a few more, just we've got integration with Microsoft Teams, which allows us with further visibility across multiple teams. We've also found that the integration out of the box for Datadog, which our monitoring tool, was extremely useful. And as mentioned, the automation for easy onboarding allows other new teams to onboard very quickly. So in summary, what are the business benefits we've identified? So a reduction in the time to recover from incidents. So this is just purely down to the time we're saving in and getting the SREs engaged very quickly. Having clear on-call rotas. So now our SREs know when they're on call. As a management team, we also know who's on call at any one time. Powerful analytics and reporting. So having trends in incidents and also having reporting on the amount of time our team are taking to respond and how long they're working. This allows us to monitor things like burnout of our teams. And overall, a reduction in incidents, so having better RCAs, driving blameless postmortems. And then finally, having coordinated incident response. So we now can engage multiple teams in one incident very quickly through PagerDuty. A significant savings. So we've reduced a significant amount of headcount in using PagerDuty. Seamless onboarding, as mentioned, through the automation we use, and the bridging process. So teams that aren't using PagerDuty can now have access through our live call routing directly to our SREs on call. So thanks for listening. That's me done for today. Hope that was useful. Thank you very much.